And here we go, folks, going into game 3 right here. This will decide who wins. Will Strelok be able to overcome the might of NaNiwa? Some people might consider that an upset. Personally, I'd say that you underestimate Strelok, who's always been a fantastic player. And this Marine medevac drop aggression is working very well now. NaNiwa, here we go. NaNiwa on the blue trunks, ladies and gentlemen. He is to the east of the Terminus Re, and he is playing Protoss versus his opponent, the one and only Strelok in the red trunks. He is playing Terran. Now, will we see NaNiwa go for an aggressive play? I had this feeling he wanted to go into a 4-gate. I really, really do, but he couldn't. It was scouted by Strelok. There's no way to really know, honestly, but he had the resource for it. It looks like he was setting up for a 4-gateway attack, and he didn't get it. Not ideal. Then, of course, he went in with his 3-gateway aggression, which worked pretty well, certainly. He was forcing his opponent to pull a lot of SCVs off the line. They got sniped up very nicely, but still, it wasn't quite enough. Strelok with a vicious counterattack. Marines and, of course, medevacs to back that one up. Proved to be unpleasant. NaNiwa right now. We'll find out what he decides to do. I would not be surprised to see anything early and aggressive from him. I really, really wouldn't. Strelok right here with the barracks now. The last time they played Terminus Re, I think Strelok did go for the fast expansion. Was it backed up by Reaper? I can't quite recall. Here he could either go into building no gas whatsoever and go straight into a command center, or of course he'd go with a Reaper fast expansion. We'll find out one way or the other, but one way or the other I would expect him to do that. It doesn't seem likely that he'll just stay on one expansion with the Terminus Re. It's a really good map for it. He can expand and do whatever the hell he pleases. NaNiwa right now doing absolutely nothing, which should scare the hell out of anyone. That really should scare the hell out of anyone. That is the fastest expansion I've ever seen from NaNiwa. He's not even backing it up with anything. He doesn't have a forge. He's got no pylon. He's just gone straight into an expansion and then into a gateway. It's a very risky play. However, he has seen that Strelok's played a quite defensive game early on. Yes, he builds a lot of Marines, but no, he doesn't attack with them. He tends to hold back. He tends to expand. I would expect to see that right here. You see the tech lab coming down. So Reaper fast expansion is very, very likely right here for Strelok. And we are looking for the possibility of harassment right now on this Nexus from that Reaper once it actually comes in. Scouting efforts from Strelok are on the way. He looks to try and find out what's going to happen. And interestingly enough, decides to follow this up with a Marauder this time around, which is not what he went for the last time. He's not been using a lot of Marauders at all, really, using maybe one in a mix to slow a few units down, but primarily it's been Marine damage. There's the scout. Strelok sees what's coming. He knows the timing of this expansion. There's not a lot to follow it up with. And NaNiwa with a later cybernetics core, so he will not get aggressive early on. He can't. He has no option here. Playing highly economically. And interestingly enough, no Reaper from Strelok either, altering his strategy a little bit, trying to get some Marines and Marauders on the field, the second barracks to follow it up. And perhaps he must be wondering, well, can I get aggressive against NaNiwa, who for some reason has not built a forge? What you usually see when you see a fast expansion from the Protoss is you'll get a pylon down, you'll get a forge, and then a fast expansion behind it. In this case, it's just a fast expansion and nothing else. There is a pylon going in that mineral line, so there is a possibility that he will be forced to build photon cannons there to defend against the aggression of his opponent. Strelok with a bunker at the front, however, and Strelok's not showing any real signs of getting aggressive just yet. He does have a reasonable force. He's got 3 Marines and a Marauder on the field. It's not enough to do any real damage with, however, and he's got no more Marauders accompanying it, plus no concussive shell, and Stim's pretty late as well. That's the second barracks finished right now for Strelok. Engineering bay to come up as well. NaNiwa with the second assimilator and indeed the third. Very tech-heavy approach coming in, I would have to imagine. No proxy pylons placed anywhere, and really, what's he going to follow it up with? The answer is absolutely nothing. He's only got one gateway robotics on 2 bases. This could be incredibly quick Colossus. I can't see him bringing Immortals out. It makes no real sense right now. None at all. Deploying Immortals against Marines, kind of silly. Colossus seems more likely. A couple of bunkers down right here for Strelok, and the third right there. Very, very solid defensive wall. Unless, of course, you're going against Colossus that will outrange it very nicely. Strelok could easily go for a third right here if he wants to risk it. NaNiwa, in the meantime, following it up with 3 more gateways. As you can see right there, that's actually 4 gateways total on 2 bases, but the time for a aggressive 4-gateway attack has, of course, passed. NaNiwa breaking off right now to have a look and see what he can do. Will he be able to deploy anything? Well, no, he's going to get nailed down almost immediately. This scouting will be denied, but he does have the robotics up, so he can get an observer in there pretty much immediately if he decides to do just that. There's the follow-up of the robotics bay. Colossus will be put in play. And more to the point, can Strelok start to apply drop pressure? He's so late on his drops right now, so I don't think so. He's only just finished his factory, so he's going to have to go into the starport after that. And what we tend to see from Strelok is he then goes for the reactor. He'll tend to build the reactor on the factory for the swap around, but still, that's a big delay between the two. Strelok's strength in anything has to be harassment, and if he's not doing it to NaNiwa, I'd be really worried. Incredibly worried. NaNiwa's forces are Spartan at best. He doesn't have all that he needs to do anything, really, but with those Colossi on the way out and the extended thermal lance upgrade coming in, Strelok could be in a lot of trouble very fast unless he's able to do something about it. He does have the starport coming out, he's got the reactor, but here's the thing. If he scouts that his opponent has Colossi, then he is forced to, instead of building medevacs and, of course, building drop harassments, he is forced to build Vikings. And if he's got the Vikings, then, of course, he can't do any drops. And since that's perhaps Strelok's real strength, then that's going to end up being a bit problematic. 2 forges coming down right now for NaNiwa. Not willing to go in just yet. I don't blame him. He doesn't really have a good Colossus count. He's got 1 up on the field. He hasn't got extended thermal lance up as of yet either. 1 Colossus right there. In comes the observer, having a look around, seeing what he can see, which is not a huge amount right now. Starport coming out with medevacs, and I don't blame Strelok for that at all because he has no real scouting information. He's not able to find out whether or not his opponent's got that. He could scan, and I would certainly recommend that he does. Knowing about those Colossus and knowing about those forges will be useful. 2 more gateways to back that up, so that's Colossus plus 6 gateways on 2 bases right here. 6 gateways total. 6 gateways on 2 bases plus the Colossus makes sense. It's an economically sound strategy. NaNiwa could look to try and get another base right here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Strelok's already looking to do that. Strelok is not going to simply sit around and wait for NaNiwa, however. All of his supply count is equal. Extended thermal lance is up, 2 Colossus are up, and no Vikings are up. And Strelok doesn't have any major upgrades. He's got a +1. And 2 medevacs. That's not really going to be enough to do anything. He'll need to try and draw his opponent out of position. Now, of course, NaNiwa saw that because the observer spotted it, and Strelok perhaps knows. In fact, he is well aware of this. This is a smart play by Strelok. He's drawn NaNiwa out of position, and there's no easy way to get back in there either. NaNiwa's starting to get aggressive. However, in the meantime, these 2 drops are coming into the back, and NaNiwa could get caught completely off guard, and that's exactly what's happening right now. The warp in coming in to try and back this up. There's a lot of firepower already coming in, and he's got +1 as well. There are no upgrades right now for NaNiwa as of yet, and NaNiwa's forces are streaming back across the map, but they're going to take ages to get there. That 1 Colossus pops up right there, and that's the only real defense that he's got. A great surround right there by NaNiwa. He nails it down, and can he bring that Colossus down? It's looking very unlikely right now, and the brunt of this drop has been dealt with, but still, Strelok's killed off 11 workers in the process. It was a good bit of harassment, and most of his forces actually got out of there alive. What a great fake out there by Strelok against NaNiwa, and of course Strelok knows there must be an observer in the base. He would have seen him moving out, so he's thinking, NaNiwa's going to move out to intercept. What I'm going to do, I'm going to draw him out of position, then I'm going to pick up half my force, drop it in his base, and then retreat with the other half. That's put NaNiwa on the back foot economically, as you can see. 46 probes to 54, plus 2 mules on the field, and Strelok has a fully functional 3rd base, whereas NaNiwa is still working on his 3rd. This drop play is always so critical in Strelok's playstyle. And if he's able to pull it off, he's almost unstoppable. Upgrades coming out, and indeed, double upgrade strategy for him. Those 2 forges have worked on. They've got +1/+1, but +2 is coming in on both sides of Strelok. Strelok losing a couple of units, nothing major. Isn't able to take out any workers, so it wasn't exactly the best drop in the world. But right now, he's still in a good position. He's exactly where he needs to be, and he's going to be able to build up a sufficient force to crush NaNiwa, and that's exactly what he's working on doing. Terran ship level upgrade 1 is coming in. Vikings on the field. Several more coming in as well. Terran infantry upgrade level 2 on both sides. Another drop moving in. This could be a 2-pronged attack. I would imagine Strelok will maybe try and fake out his opponent right here, and then strike the 3rd base of NaNiwa. Strelok has not scouted that base yet, but he's got to assume that his opponent's gone for it. It is Terminus Re, which means that almost everyone takes their third much faster than they would because of how secure it is. Of course, it is not secure against drops. That's its one big vulnerability. +2/+2 is on its way for NaNiwa. It is slightly behind the Terran player. Only slightly, by literally a couple of seconds. Blink Stalker on its way in as well. Those dropships just hanging around, waiting. It's a shame they aren't going in right now. They could wipe out that mineral line very easily. They could put him in an incredibly bad situation. 8 Vikings on the field for Strelok as well. More Colossi coming, another 4 gateways to follow up right here for NaNiwa. 5 Colossus up already. That is not pleasant. However, if Strelok can continue to economically harass his opponent so that he can't get the numbers up, then he will be able to crush him. Here comes the snip right now. 3 pylons, ladies and gentlemen. 3 pylons to give away right here at the Steel Series Arena stand. And that's all Strelok wants to do. You know, he doesn't care. Kind of unfortunate, really. He could have gone for that base, certainly. He's not under any real threat, but that said, if he overcommits to it, then he could end up losing that force. Still, in that situation, he could have actually done more damage than that. NaNiwa was not pulled out of position by that. It's very easy to defend that third base because of the positioning of this. But look at that, big death ball right there for NaNiwa. He doesn't have army supply advantage, though. He's got to follow this up with Dark Templar, which is a curious choice. It might work. Strelok in this game actually going heavily into Marauders, which he has not liked to do in the previous games of this tournament, but he needs them right now. He needs that buffer zone that can absorb that Colossus firepower, and those Marines can't. +2/+2 is up for him. +3/+3 is on the way for NaNiwa, but it won't come into effect before Strelok is able to attack. And the upgrade count is looking in favor of Strelok right now. He also has ghosts in the mix. Never underestimate how important that is. Good force fields on that death ball could cripple it. Strelok actually avoiding this entirely. Surely he will take the Xel'Naga Watchtower. He doesn't. NaNiwa sees it. Strelok doesn't. Here's the interception coming in right there. And there's the force field blockade. Cutting that force in half very nicely right there, doing good damage. Loses a Colossus only for a significant expenditure of units from Strelok. However, Strelok can afford this.